Hello everybody and welcome back to Up the Guts. We're continuing where we left off with our season previews up to the Port Adelaide Football Club now. If you guys haven't watched my previous season previews of all the classes, we're going in alphabetical order. As mentioned, we're at Port Adelaide now. Make sure to go back and watch them after watching this one, of course. If you are enjoying this series, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video on YouTube. Not sure if you can leave a like on Spotify. You can definitely leave a comment, so make sure you do that. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn the notification bell on so you don't miss an upload. Whereas if you're watching this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, for a matter of fact, make sure you click that follow button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. But here's the most important one. Make sure to leave a 5-star rating as it helps get the show out there. Without further ado, let's get into the 2025 season preview of the Port Adelaide Football Club. The Port Adelaide Football Club, we've already learned that Ken Hinkley, this will be his last season. So do they have another run at? Do they have a chance of finally winning the flag that he's been so close to getting? But there will be a succession plan. At the end of this season, Ken Hinkley will be handing over the reins to Josh Carr. So that was already been announced. And in 2024, they finished second on the ladder, and we're good. Story of Port Adelaide is they're good in the normal season. They can't go through it with the finals. Some of the ins they brought in Rory Atkins. And I just moved my book over. Sorry, Rory Atkins and Jack Lukosius both joined them over from the Gold Coast Suns. So Rory Atkins obviously started his career at Adelaide and was good at Adelaide and just didn't get the opportunity at Gold Coast. So he'll play that halfback role when he gets a chance. And Jack Lukosius never really found his role at the Gold Coast. Played some good footy at halfback and also played some good footy in the forward line. So it'll be interesting to see where Port Adelaide look to use him at the moment, because he's a beautiful kick of the footy. Joe Richards, who showed some really good signs, was picked up as a mid-season rookie, I believe, in the mid-season draft, or at least he was picked up from Collingwood. Obviously, being a Collingwood supporter, I know this, but he was picked up from Collingwood as a mature ager. I just can't actually remember if it was the national or the mid-season, but he was picked up as a mature ager from Wangaratta. Wangaratta Magpies down with Ben Reid coaches. But he played some really good games for when he played for Collingwood. So Port Adelaide liked what they saw him then. I believe they offered him a 4-year contract. So off just those few games, they really liked what they were seeing in that. Then we have a look at some of the draft picks they've picked up. They've picked up Joe Berry with pick 15, which I've heard a lot of good things about him. Jack Whitlock with pick 33. Christian Moores with pick 38. Tom Cochrane with rookie. It's a good story about Tom Cochrane. He told his mother when he was younger, and he's managed to happen. He wanted to be the first player to play AFL with Tourette's. So that's really good by Tom Cochrane. Congratulations to him. Benny Barrett and Jacob Moss were both Category B rookies. Now we have a look at their outs. A couple of retirees and a couple losing, but the big loss that they have is the loss of back-to-back All-Australian off the half-back line, Dan Houston. He goes over to the Collingwood Football Club, which will be interesting to see how big of a loss he'll be, because he was their main drive off the halfback. Could Jack Lukosius go in and fill that role? Or Kane Farrell stand up? It'll be interesting to see. Charlie Dixon retired, and it's going to be a big impact down in their forward line. Like Jeremy Finlayson, just too inconsistent down there. Todd Marshall, another one, is too inconsistent. And we don't know how Todd Marshall is travelling with all the concussion issues he's had. He's had a lot of head knocks. But Mitch Georgiades is the one I like. But he's not your number one key, but he's definitely got some talent. So it's going to be interesting now, that forward line mix with Charlie Dixon retiring. Trent McKenzie retires well, often played as an undersized key defender, was a warrior. Tom Cleary was delisted. Tom Cleary at one point was their second key defender, back when it was Tom Jonas and then it was Tom Cleary, and he just fell out of favour at Port, bringing in, they were liking using Ali obviously over him, but also Brandon Zerk-Thatcher and Asaba Radagalier. Francis Evans, after joining them from Geelong, played a few games in Port, was also delisted. Kyle Marshall was delisted. Quinton Narkle was delisted after coming over from Geelong, but then has been picked up by Freo. So he'll be continuing at a third club over in Fremantle, and Tom Scully was also delisted. Now let's have a look at their list. Key defensive, last year they really boosted it when they brought in Brandon Zerk-Thatcher and Asaba Radagalier. Well, at least they looked to try and booster it. So the key defensive style, Ali, one of the best key defenders in the game. He'd be at least top 5 in my opinion. Brandon Zerk-Thatcher, Asaba Radagalier, Jacob Moss, who came in this as a Category B rookie this season, and Xavier Walsh, another young player there. Defenders, they got Ryan Burton, Kane Farrell, Josh Sin, Miles Bergman, Logan Evans, who I really like the look of Logan Evans, Dylan Williams, Rory Atkins, and Lockie Jones. Midfielders, they've got their skipper and Connor Rosie. Will look to have a bit more of a better season this year. 2023 was excellent. 2024 was a bit down. Obviously had some injury troubles as well. Jace Burgoyne had a really good year, I thought, off the wing and half back. Zach Butters, obviously hard at it, hard as a cat's head, and just when he starts, he knows how to kick a goal, but when he starts hitting that scoreboard more, he'll be even more one of the best players in the league, I think. Charles Boak just keeps going. Ollie Wines, Jason Horn-Francis, who is getting better and better and just building and building, showing everyone why he was taken to pick one. William Drew can get his own ball, but more importantly, can play a role as well, gets clearances, get tackles, and he can go stand on the opposition's best midfielder and navigate them while hurting them the other way. So he's a really crucial magnet that Ken Hinkley has at Port Adelaide. Christian Moraz, they just picked up. William Lorenz as well. Tom Cochran, they just picked up. Hugh Jackson, Benny Barry, they just picked up. And Jackson Mead, who we saw a few times last year. Rucks, they've got a three-way ruck. So we've got Ivan Soldo. He'll be looking to improve this season. Jordan Sweet showed a bit of good signs at points in last season. Obviously joined them from Western Bulldogs last year. And Dante Vicentini, who we saw a few times as well. Key forwards, we talked briefly on this with before with the retiring of Charlie Dixon. It's going to be a new look forward line. So at the moment, we're looking at Todd Marshall, Jeremy Finlayson, Mitch Georgiades, Jack Whitlock, and Ollie Lord, who, when he's fit, has shown he's a really good player as well. Forwards, they've got Joe Berry, Jack Lukosius is listed as a forward, so possibly playing him as a forward. This is all from their website. Will Irioli, as we know, Willie is a classy small forward. Lachlan Charlson, Tom Anastopoulos. Anastopoulos, that's what I'm going to finalise with. Darcy Byrne-Jones, was an All-Australian half-backer. Now he's made himself a really damaging small forward who can play a defensive role on a small defender, like a Tom Stewart type of defender who really drives and has an impact on the game from the back line for the opposition team, and also hits the scoreboard as well, though. And Joe Richards joined there, and Jed McEntee. Where do I think that they'll be finished? Port Adelaide will finish in 2025. I haven't predicted to finish third on the ladder at the moment. I don't see him finishing top, but I definitely do see him finishing in the top end of the top 8 ladder. Look out for, now I briefly brushed over him, and there was a reason why I briefly brushed over him, because I wanted to talk about him more now. It's Jason Horn-Francis. Jason Horn-Francis showed signs last year why there was so much talk about him in his draft year. He's a game changer, and the way he can go into the midfield, gets his own ball, but it's the way he hits the scoreboard, and he's so damaging one-on-one out of the square too. That's such a great asset to have. Someone who can play in the midfield but also push forward and play one out in the square, and he's almost like another key forward, the way that he can use his body and body stuff out, sort of like that Dustin Martin, Paddy Dangerfield role. So it's so crucial, and Jason Horn-Francis exposed that last year with his 27 goals that he kicked in multiple games where he kicked more than one goal in a game. So I'm interested to see how much more Ken Hinkley plays around with that this year, to the effect of Jason Horn-Francis to get the most effect on the game, but also to use it in Port Adelaide's favour in damaging periods of the game when they need a spark. Chuck him in the midfield. They need some goals. They can chuck him down there, down in the forward line, coming out of the square where he is so damaging. He would just be a great magnet to have, because you know the numerous different roles that he can play, and he can win a game off his own boot. So look out for Jason Horn-Francis to amp that up even more in 2025. As I mentioned, 2024 kicked the 27 goals from his 24 matches and averaged a 20.8 disposals. His best game came in round 22 v Melbourne, where he had 28 disposals, kicked 2 goals, and took 13 marks. Now, needs to lift. I briefly brushed over this player as well, but I've gone with a ruckman. I've gone with Ivan Soldo. Now, he'd like last season back. Obviously, he was on record saying that he didn't really want to go to Adelaide and all this. There was a lot going on, but he only managed coming over to try and be the number one ruck, obviously, because he was falling down He was always going to be behind Toby Nankervis down there at Richmond. So he came over to try to be the number one ruck and just couldn't solidify a spot in there. Got injured, then made some stupid comments, which I'm sure he wished he could have back. But 2024, we played the 8 matches, averaging the 28 hit-outs a game and 10.5 average disposals, and kicked the 5 goals. Round 3 was his best game against Melbourne, where he had 16 disposals to go along with 24 hit-outs, 8 clearances, 6 tackles, and 1 goal. So Vance Soto will have to... Round 1 is no lock that he will be playing. Jordan Sweet proved competitive enough to go up against, be the number one ruck. So Vance Soto's going to have to fight his way back into the side and earn the trust back from Port Adelaide, in my personal opinion. Well, there you have it, guys. There is my season preview for the Port Adelaide Football Club. I've got them predicted to finish around 3rd. Look out for Jason Horne-Francis to really, really show his game-winning capabilities even more in 2025, and needs to leave Vance Soto to get the number one ruck role back and win the trust back in Port Adelaide and show he really wants to be there. Thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed this video and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video and click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. If you're listening to this via streaming services such as Apple Podcasts and Spotify, make sure to click that follow button, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss an upload, leave a like, and most importantly, leave a 5-star rating on this show, as it helps get the show out there to bring in more listeners, and the more listeners there is, the more content I can keep providing you guys. So for all the people that are listening right now and showing support, I thank you very much, and thank you for watching another season preview for 2025. And until next time, I'll see you guys there.